About it. They're the gamblers.
Hello, gamblers.
Hello, gamblers.
Hello, gamblers.
That's good.
There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. You got to know when to hold.
So you get out the gate shooting.
Jay, can you assist?
All right, now she need help.
Talking that shit.
Talking shit.
That's the other podcast nigga and shit. How about that?
Hey, can you help me open up my drink, please? Thanks, Trey.
Hello. We are live from a brewery. I wanted to say Accra, but we're in the mountains.
Yeah, we're not Accra.
We're out here in a brewery, Ghana.
In the mountains.
We in Ghana, though. What up?
We are in Ghana. All right, let's just get right into this. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How do I want to start this off? That's a little formal.
Ladies and gentlemen. Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen. That's too
Hello,
much.
ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of...
Well, first of all, I feel like we need to give our listeners a name. You know how they be having the names of the... I feel like they should be the gamblers. I know. I thought about that yesterday. I said it like it was just off the top of my head, but I had already thought about it. They're the gamblers.
Hello, gamblers.
Hello gamblers.
Hello, gamblers.
That's good. Okay. Take two.
All right, and... I can't do it because...
Masa, be careful with that arm. Masa's recovering from an injury, and we thank God for the progress. And it's going to get better each and every day. Hello, gamblers. This is episode number 1 of the Ghana Gamble Podcast.
Pew, pew, pew.
I am your most gorgeous and gracious host.
Are you being more gorgeous?
All right. Hello, gamblers, and welcome to episode 1 of the Ghana Gamble Podcast. I am your girl, Empress Fudia, and I'm here with my lovely co-hosts. Lovely is a strong word for Dre.
I prefer to start a show. Dre Taylor.
And
Legally Masa. Masa, otherwise known as Kenya's barely older sister.
Better half. A third. Because you know the
half.
sister.
yeah.
Better half. I'm the better half for both of them, though.
Anyway, this is the Ghana Gamble Podcast. We are coming to you live from Aburi.
Abri.
I never really knew how to correctly. It's Aburi.
Abri.
So it's like a quick.
Oh, okay. They could take one tree lesson, and now all of a sudden they're gonna be corrected.
I don't want to say nothing.
Corrected pronunciation.
Abri. Anyway, we're out here in the mountains, and we're really excited to bring you the Ghana Gamble Podcast. Masa, go ahead and tell them what this podcast is about.
Okay, so first of all, y'all, we're so hyped. You don't even know how many times we started and talked and scheduled and rescheduled and canceled. And by we, I mean
You.
It was Masa mainly.
you guys. I don't know if you heard, but I'm a single mom.
Oh, God.
And my arm was broke. And I'm a business owner. And I've been very overwhelmed and sad lately because of my arm.
Her arm is getting better, though. We're very happy about
Thank
that.
God for Jesus. Anyway, that being said, we are finally here. We're super excited to bring you Ghana Gamble. So Ghana Gamble is about the comings and goings, the ins and outs, the daily, weekly overview about 3 diasporans who relocated to Ghana relatively recently. We've all been here for less than 3 years. And we are 1 or 3, I should say, of thousands of diasporans, particularly African Americans, who have descended upon Ghana and made Ghana our home. So this is the real deal about Ghana. I mean, you can Google it. You can Google us because, you know, we important. But anyway, you can Google it. But until you've actually lived a week or a month or even a year or 2 in Ghana, it's really impossible for you to know what life is like here. So this is us giving you the real deal on Ghana. And we're going to start, I guess, with this first episode, kind of giving you a little bit of information about ourselves, our backgrounds, what we did before we moved to Ghana, what brought us here, and what we've been doing since we got to Ghana. And that's it. That's it in a nutshell, right? Did I forget anything?
Yeah, we'll talk about different things from Daddy December, which is like focused around Afro-Chella now, Afro-Future.
Detsy.
Detty.
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 That's
Whatever. December. Talk about the nightlife, the culture, the food, starting a business here in Ghana, dating.
Oh, Dre's gonna tell us all about dating in Ghana.
We can't wait to hear it.
I don't know nothing about dating in Ghana. I heard.
Oh, okay.
What I've heard.
Uh-huh.
We'll talk about raising children, schools,
Yes.
purchasing land in Ghana. A lot of different things we'll talk about, focused in on Ghana and our experience being here. So a lot of different topics, a lot of different episodes. So like I said, this is episode 1.
This is episode number 1, so bear with us, y'all.
Right.
We didn't want to put it off any longer, so here we are. Masa, I want to remind you to sit back because the microphone is... Yeah.
Okay.
We want to be able to hear everything you have to
sorry.
say.
Okay,
No
that's my- no
don't
problem.
apologize. We just want the people to hear what you have to say.
But apologies. That's one big cultural difference over here. Okay, sorry. Yes, please.
We
Sorry.
haven't even started
Sorry,
on
please.
cultural.
Sorry, please.
Please, no problem.
Please, I'm sorry.
Please, it's okay. All right. Now, what would have helped is if we would have at least had a little note about what we're talking about.
The note is on my phone, which is also
introductions.
recording.
Okay.
What brought us to Ghana?
Uh-huh.
So if you want to kick it off,
We can kick it off.
younger sister.
Yeah, I'll start. I am, like I said, my name is Kenya, aka the Empress Fudia. You can find me on Instagram, YouTube. I haven't really uploaded much content, but follow me anyway, and that will motivate me to upload content. The YouTube page is Fudia in Accra. I'll link that below somewhere. So yeah, I came to Ghana on April 27th of 2021. It was actually in Sierra Leone's Independence Day. Myself and Masa, we are Sierra Leonean Americans who live in Accra now. So I remember because it was Independence Day for Sierra Leone. That's the first day that I got to Accra. What made me move here? Well, like thousands of others, I came to Ghana for a year of return in December of 2019 through January of 2020. And honestly, I got here, I stayed for a week or two, and I didn't want to leave. It was such a vibe. It was just such a comfortable place for me. I've been a lot of places, but honestly, coming to Ghana, I was like, wow, I feel like I could live here. Like, I feel like this works for you. The vibes are correct. I feel like I could make something of this. Although at that time I wasn't really planning to move. I was just like, I could probably live here. So then I went back. Shortly after that is when the whole COVID lockdown quarantine situation happened. I was living in Houston, Texas at the time. And during that quarantine, I feel like it just gave a lot of us the time to think, look back over our lives. We were stuck in the house for a long time. Then finally the airports opened back up, and I was like, yo, Masa, you know where we should go? And she was like, where? Exactly. And I was like, yo, we should go visit Ghana, because I was still on a high from the beginning of the year. And did I mention it was a solo trip? It was supposed to be a group trip, but it never made it out the group chat. And I decided to come on my own because I was like, you know what? Y'all ain't about to hold me back. Let me go live my best life in Ghana. And I'm so happy I made that decision. So yeah, I told Masa we should go visit Ghana. And she was like, because Masa had been here before. She'll tell you about that. But it was a long, long time ago. So she hadn't seen the new Accra, the new vibes in Ghana. I was like, nah, I really feel like we should go check it out. So I'm pretty influential in her life. So she decided to trust me. And we came to visit Ghana. And then once we got here, she was like, I see what you're saying. And yeah, one thing led to another, and bada bing, bada boom, we were on a plane moving to Accra. It's been 2 years, and I have absolutely no regrets thus far.
What was you doing beforehand?
Before I came to Ghana, I was working as an office manager at a law firm. A law firm by the name of the Foray Firm, with offices in Chicago and Houston, Texas. I worked for this firm for approximately 5 years. I don't even know how that happened. You know how you just start like, I'm gonna help you. I don't. I didn't sign up for that, but I gladly did it, and I helped to build the firm to where it is today. So you are welcome.
It was just a question, and that was such a loaded answer. Thank you.
I was working at a law firm. Is what I was doing before I came to Ghana. To answer the question.
And yourself?
Masa here, aka, well, I'm an actual AKA, but that's not the point. Also known as Legally Masa. You can find me on Instagram. You can also find me at legallymasa.com. You can also just Google me generally, because I'll be moving and shaking. That being said, I moved to Ghana. Was it 1 week before Kenya?
Yeah, we were supposed to come at the same time, but
we were.
I had to push it back a little.
Late.
Kenya be handling things.
Kenya be.
I do be late. Like, don't get me wrong. I'll be late.
So you fit right in Africa.
Yeah. Well, exactly. I got here. I was like,
super fit right in Africa. Yeah. They be moving at Kenya's speed.
Masa, this is about you.
That being said, I moved here a week before she did. So I want to say like April 21st was the day that I moved here with my two daughters. 7-year-old and 8-year-old. At the time, actually, I guess what? Gosh, 2 years ago. Oh my goodness, I was out here in these streets. Like a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old, I think is how old they were when I moved here. In any event, moved here from Chicago / Houston, kind of. Chicago is where I practiced law, had lived there my entire adult life. So moved there literally like the week after law school or something like that, and had lived there at this point for almost 20 years, except for the last 2 years right before we moved here. We opened up an office in Houston. We were living in Houston, and then COVID happened. And so I don't claim Houston because we were like really just in our houses, just like in our bedrooms, and I don't know nothing about the place, and I don't know nobody, and nobody knows me there. So really, I'm just gonna say Chicago. So moved here, still practice law remotely, but I am loving Ghana. What made me move here? I think about this all the time, and I feel like my answer changes, but the 3 things that really pushed me, because I knew I was going to have to record it today, in no particular order: Black Panther, the Black Panther movie, Wakanda
Forever.
I can't do, look at my.
Masa.
Look at my.
Again, guys, Masa was in a serious accident. She broke her arm, and she just took her cast off last night. And anybody that's had a cast before knows that once you take it off, your arm or your limb is looking a little funny. It's looking a little malnourished.
Dre, does it look funny to you?
Not at all. Not at all. But yeah, he was talking about what brought you here.
I moved here, number 1, because of Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Number 2, because of George Floyd. Number 3, because of COVID. Number 4, because of Trump. And I feel like all of those things melt together. When Black Panther came out a few years before we moved here, it really emphasized like how I feel about Africa. Like the way Lupita's character and Chadwick's character, like the way they acted when they were descending back upon Africa, because they were the ones who like went to the US or they went wherever and then they came back on a plane. Like seeing them when they were above above Wakanda on the plane, and Lupita's character was just like, ooh, this never gets old. Like that resonated with me so much. But even at that point in time when I saw it, my thoughts were just, gosh, it would be so amazing if Africa were that way all the time, right? If I could be in Africa for a sustained period of time. So it just kind of sowed a kernel, right? Just like, gosh, I feel that way as soon as I land, but then the minutes I leave the airplane, stress and wahala. So I would just say Black Panther. That made me really, really remember how much I love Africa. Then fast forward to, I was living in Houston. Like I said, for the last 2 years before, Kenya and I were both living in Houston for the last 2 years before we moved here. George Floyd happened. They brought his body back home to Houston to bury him. I have a teenage son, a black son, and I took him to the funeral. I took him to go view the body. That happening with Trump on repeat, on the airwaves, on the radio station, on the news channels, 24/7, spewing his hate. And then COVID happening, causing all of us to be captive to like Trump, like we were his captive audience. Like, we had nowhere to go. We couldn't hang it. We couldn't kick it. We couldn't distract ourselves. We were just smothered by his voice on television during COVID. And then having to watch like the assassination, which I can honestly say I've never to this day watched George Floyd be murdered on television. I never saw it, but I feel like I could see it in my mind's eye because I heard so many people describe what it looked like. So all of that happening at the same time, and then Kenya having just got back from Ghana right before COVID happened, and she wouldn't stop talking about it. She literally would not stop talking about how much she loved Ghana. Like, that for me sowed the seed, and like she said, she is very influential. She's slightly my best friend.
Slightly.
So her convincing me to come to Ghana during a time when America had turned into La Ghetto really is what sealed the deal for me. As soon as I landed, that feeling, that Lupita Chadwick feeling when they flew over Wakanda, and Wakanda changes from like you seeing animals to you see that it's a beautiful like metropolitan city, and you see the beauty of Wakanda in that picture. Like, that's exactly what I felt like when I landed at Kotoka Airport that October of 2020. And then from October 2020, we were moved by April of 2021. So that's it. Those are all the reasons why I moved here.
And Dre, what brought you to Ghana?
I always knew I was coming here. Like the last 15 years, I knew I was coming to Africa. I just didn't know when. And so, I got to learn the history, reading a lot, and I always was interested. I was traveling all around the world, and I was like, you know what, it makes no sense that I haven't been to Africa, been to all these other places, Brazil, China, Caribbean, all those places. I'm like, man, it don't make no sense why I haven't been here. And so I had a friend who's been coming for like the last 20 years. Up in the mountains here, up in the Bree. And so I was seeing this post, asking them questions, and once you hear people ask you all these questions, the biggest answer you have is just come here. Just come here. So I finally came, 2019, same time, year to return. I didn't see you. I think I seen you twerking, but I didn't see your face.
Dre, that wasn't me.
Yeah,
that was not me.
I think I seen you twerking, but I didn't say nothing. I didn't want to bring it up, but yeah, I think I seen you. It's wild doing Afro-Cello, Afro-Fusion. I'm just telling you that now. But I think that's where I seen you
okay,
at.
okay.
When I told you I think I saw you, that's where I saw you. But
A fool. Dre's silly, y'all.
That's when I seen you. But
We just gonna start like that at episode 1.
yeah,
Dre's silly, y'all.
We telling the truth about December.
ease into
About
it.
December. I'm gonna ease in
This
it.
ain't the Daddy
December be
episode.
lit.
Yeah,
December do be lit.
We'll ease into it. So I came in
Man.
2019, year to return. I was on Facebook. I found a travel group, and so I did the nightlife stuff. But the first time I landed in the airport, I felt like I was at home.
Yeah.
You get that feeling like I'm at home. You see nothing but your people. Even when you at the airport, you know what I mean, on the airplane, you see nothing but black people on there. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, now I'm coming to Ghana, I'm coming to Africa. You get that feeling that overtakes you. And then you land,
Yeah.
and you're like, man, I just had a feeling that I'm at home. I feel more at home than I did here, than I did back in the States for 40-something years.
Easily.
So when I landed, I felt at home. Went out, met with my partner up here in the mountains, and did a 11-day tour after going out for the events in December. A group of people I didn't know, met with them. We toured all across Ghana, northern Ghana, like 14 hours up there. Did a whole bunch of touristy things, and then from then on, I knew I was moving here. Before I got to Ghana, I ran a nonprofit community garden. I had like 30,000 fish I was raising, breeding insects. I got a agricultural patent on breeding insects. I went to China to learn how to do that. I had a mentoring program, mentor like 200 boys. I got a fruit orchard still in Kansas City, like 150 fruit trees still there in Kansas City. So I was doing a lot of that community type work. Was a grant reviewer for USDA, a grant writer. So it was easy for me to make that transition here. And so at the time that I was back in the States, I was making that transition after my first trip to say, you know what, I'm coming back. But then COVID hit, and so everything was shut down. As soon as I got back, everybody was like, when is you going back, or how long you gonna stay in Africa? Because I extended my trip, I think like a week,
You and everybody.
I did the same.
Extended the trip.
Yeah.
I mean,
Everybody.
2 weeks ain't long enough.
No, it's
you gotta
not.
at least do like a month. If you can do a month.
Yeah.
And so I got back, COVID started, so it was locked down. As soon as they opened the gates back up, I was back in Ghana. Every 2 or 3 months I was coming back, staying about a month, 2 months, back and forth. And so just trying to figure things out. I was trying to buy land on the beachfront, but couldn't get it. And so I ended up buying some land up here in the mountains. So I'm doing a big development project. So we'll talk about that in another episode. But, came here, loved it. Peaceful, the opportunities, the culture, the weather. Like I said, we up in the mountains now. So the weather's great, breezy, nice views, fresh air, the people. I mean, all those different things that what brought me to Ghana, just the love for my people and being around my people and being part of the majority here. It's almost like when people say white privilege back home, it's almost like you got a black privilege here being from the States. You know what I mean? It's
Black
like
American privilege.
Yeah, black American privilege being here, and so I love it. I wouldn't take anything back from the world. I'm wish I'd have been here earlier or moved here earlier, but I think probably would have kicked me out if I was here earlier. In my 20s, they probably would have kicked me out of Ghana. I'd probably been doing too much. I'd have had to sneak in through Togo. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
To come back, but
not in the 99s and the 2000s.
yeah, 99, 2000. That's when I graduated, 99. So you already know. So but I'm glad I moved here. So I do tours here now, real estate tours, and bring people here. People come and they've moved here from the tours, and had people come here on the tours and they got married, off of tours. So it's not just me. It's not just y'all. It's like everybody's now getting a new taste of Africa. We always been coming back. You know what I mean? This is like the new renaissance, I guess.
Yeah, it's a new wave.
A new wave coming in.
That's exactly what I
There's always been waves coming here.
Definitely.
Marcus Garvey, the Black Panthers and all that kind of stuff from being exiled, Liberia being for us going to come back. So it's a lot of, different stages and time periods when we came back to Africa. So it's not nothing new of us coming back home.
Good point.
And it's, we not, we Africans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't put a log in a river for 400 years and expect it to be an alligator. It's still going to be a log. You know what I mean?
Uncle Dre.
That was a very uncle-ish proverb.
You cannot put a log in the river, expect it to be an alligator, crocodile. Hey, cannot put a log in the river, it turns to crocodile. I'm telling you.
It'll always be a log.
It'll always be a log.
And so, even because we have these conversations all the time, they say, "Hey, are you African American?" I'm African. You know what I mean? I'm African. The only reason you got named because of the Berlin Conference when they sectioned off Africa. You know what I mean? That's why you speak English. That's why in Togo they speak French. Cote d'Ivoire they speak French. You know what I mean? And so depending on Berlin Conference where they section it off, that's who you are because that's where they section it off as. So, I'm African. That's why I claim. You can be who you want to be. I'm not gonna argue with you. You know what I mean?
Because some people don't agree.
Some people might not agree, and that's fine. You know what I mean?
Right.
So everybody's entitled to their opinion.
I'm an African.
I feel I'm African. So
yeah.
But
so did we mention we're all Africans? But did we mention where we're from in the United States? We mentioned where we lived, but where we're actually from.
If they're watching this on YouTube, your shirt mentioned where you're from, probably.
Yeah. I'm repping my alma mater.
See, I was born in the U.S.
Yeah.
We were born in the
Okay.
US.
I didn't know.
Honestly, I'm learning something about you today. I'm going to get to it in a second.
Yeah.
But,
Yes.
yeah.
So Masa
We're
and
born in
I,
the
we
US.
are Sierra Leonean Americans. We're American Sierra Leoneans, basically.
We are.
So we were born in the United States. I myself was born in Indiana, in Terre Haute, where Indiana State is located.
TH.
I'm repping hard. I'm repping hard for the hometown. Oh, a butterfly. So we're from Terre Haute, Indiana. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to Terre Haute.
All 10 people.
Don't do that.
You know what? I paused because I felt like Dre was about to say
do that.
something. I knew something was coming.
Terre Haute.
Don't do
Terre
that.
Haute. All 10 people.
Terre Haute.
Live
I
there.
was born in Kellogg City. I was born in Battle Creek, Michigan. You're welcome for your cornflakes, for your frosted flakes. You're welcome for all of that. But my parents moved to Terre Haute when I was like 6 weeks old. So, I'm a Hoosier.
Yeah, Hoosiers all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
So the only. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that. So you thought that we were born in Sierra Leone?
That's what I thought.
No, it's because we said we lived there when we were little.
Uh huh.
Yes. No. What happened was It's a very common story. If you're listening to this thing, y'all already know. If you were born as a first gen to African parents, really, I think this is common for like all like ethnic parents.
Diasporans.
But diasporans, 2 out of 3 of us were pretty much behaving. 1 out of 3 of us was giving parents some small headache. Next thing you know, we were on a plane for a visit, just to go visit family. That visit turned into us living there. I was enrolled in boarding school. Like, we was just there. We were there. So we only ended up staying in Sierra Leone for 2 years. The whole rest of our lives, we lived in the United States. Mm-hmm. So we were respectively 9 and 11, I think, when we moved there. 9 years old, 11 years old. Our older sister was 13 years old. And we lived there for 2 years because, you might have heard, we had a small civil war, us in Liberia. And so we got evacuated out on one of the last U.S. Embassy flights out of there. So, yeah, we were only in Sierra Leone for like 2 years. But it was, it was obviously a seminal, pivotal moment in our lives. But yeah, other than that, we've lived in the Midwest our entire lives, except for a small little trip down to Houston for 2 years.
And Houston was basically just the gateway to Ghana.
That's it.
We were there, and
That's
that was
it.
our launching pad, and we left.
That's
So,
it.
Dre, where are you from?
Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay, KC.
Killer City. That's what they call it.
Yo,
That's
is
what
that
they call it.
y'all?
Why do they
Killer
call it
City.
that?
Because
they
the
be
murder
killing.
rate, the murder rate is crazy, and so, that's one of the reasons, people move to Ghana because it's peaceful.
Yeah, very peaceful.
Half the people I grew up with, best friends was killed, half brothers killed, you know what I mean? So you move here, you don't hear no gunshots. You rarely see fights, if at all. I don't think I've seen a fight since I've been here.
An
It comes
actual
from last-
fisticuffs?
Yeah, I ain't
You
never,
sound like you miss it.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes
You be one of
man,
the fight-
yeah,
No, so sometimes you do be wanting to see, like,
some action.
Yeah, a little action.
You
A
know,
little action.
tussle.
You
Little
miss a little
tussle.
action, you know
rumble.
what I mean? I'm used to hearing
You know?
gunshots at night, you know what I mean? Going out, ducking bullets and all that stuff. So, you don't get fights, you get arguments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They'll get out the car and, argue back and forth with each other, honk the horn, but, they ain't trying to bust no grapes. You know what I mean? And so,
But it's in tree, and so then we don't really get the gist. We don't get the
usually
gist.
the actions speak louder than words. You know what I mean? And you don't see no fights. And sometimes you miss a little action. You know what I mean? Sometimes it can be too quiet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You come from a place where it's like, man, it's too damn quiet. Something wrong.
Honestly.
You know what I mean? For some people, that might be a put off for it. But if you in a crowd in the city, you going to hear, action and X, Y, and Z. But there ain't going to be no fighting. There's going to be just a lot of loud noises. Might see some goats, you know what I mean? You might see some chickens fly on the podcast.
You will see some goats.
You know what I mean? So it's very possible.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? You might see
Highly
some of
likely.
that happening, but you ain't gonna see no elephants go by. Ain't no lion gonna jump over the fence. You know what I mean?
You said ain't no lie gonna jump
Yeah,
over
that's
the
what some
fence.
people be thinking.
Yeah.
You know what?
I had somebody come on
think they're joking.
I had somebody come on a tour, and their grandmother told them to bring some elephant spray.
Okay.
Some elephant
Your
spray.
life.
And I was like, if you that damn close to an
To an elephant, what is the
you
spray
make that
gonna
spray
do?
going? What you gonna be doing that damn close to an elephant anyway?
Elephant
You know what I
spray.
mean? So some
hilarious.
people actually think that we walking around with lions and whatever,
Nah, we're not.
giraffes and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, no. I mean,
You gonna get mad goats,
Let me tell you
chickens,
about
cows,
crossing
sheep.
the road.
Yeah, like some shit. Like cows might literally stop you in traffic. You just got to sit there and let them walk past.
Oh, you live
But
here
yeah,
long enough.
yeah,
That's absolutely gonna happen.
that's gonna happen. But other than that, just livestock, really.
There's no overstating like the peacefulness, but I don't even think it's a peacefulness as far as quiet, because it's actually physically peaceful. It is very physically quiet and peaceful here. I would say most of the places, except for like the clubbing areas, like Osu or something like that, right? East Legon on the right night in the right areas, but it's a sense of peace, inner peace that you feel when you get here that is completely unlike anything that I've ever felt in all my years in the United States. I would say, truly, it sounds funny, like we're not joking, like you really do sometimes miss the hustle and bustle. Like, for 15 years on the south side of Chicago, like, like you used to walking up in a store and it's like anything goes today. Like, I never saw a shootout or anything like that. We're not Kansas City, right? Despite what you have heard, popular rumor, it's not like that in Chicago. But, like, you just miss a little spiciness. And I feel like the best way to compare moving as an American to Ghana is like moving as a New Yorker to Malibu, California. Gorgeous place, you know, like it's beautiful. There are palm trees. It's lovely, like lots of wealth and everything that you want is out there. But if you are a New Yorker at heart,
Yeah, you want to hear somebody get cussed out
you
every
know what
now
I'm
and then.
saying? You want to hear somebody get cussed out. You also want to be cussed out so you can hone your cussing out skills. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like you miss that. And so yeah, I miss the hustle and bustle sometimes. But when I miss it too much, you know, I just hop on a flight and go to Freetown, Sierra Leone, and then I'll be right back again.
Dre, you got to come to Sierra Leone with us, by the way.
I'm gonna come.
Yeah, you got to
I'ma
get out
come.
there
From
so you
the
can
airport.
you can see the difference.
From the airports,
It's a fun place, though. Great times to be had in Sierra Leone.
fantastic times.
Anyway, so that's how we all ended up here in Ghana. And what have we been up to? Dre, kind of, you went over what you've been up to so far, doing real estate development tours.
Dre, do you have a tour coming up?
Yeah, I got a real estate tour in July, end of July, early August, and then I have the one in December, the Afro Future tour. So last year we were like 50 people, 52 people, I think. And so we probably have about 75 people this year, so we'll see.
And how much one of your tours gonna set me back? Like if I just, you know.
It's an investment to yourself. You know what I mean?
That's what
coming
people
back-
say when they about to tell you
Yeah, it's
a
investment.
15-figure number.
Yeah, investment coming back home. You know, you can't put a price on it. The experience that you have, the culture, the food, the people, the myths that you've been lied about. You know what I mean? They tell you all this stuff about Africa. Oh, it's poor. It's, you know, people are killing everywhere. It's X, Y, and Z. They got mosquitoes the size of birds. You know, it's
Well, they're not big,
But
you don't
they're
see the
deadly.
mosquitoes,
Let me
but they'll
stop,
get
you
you.
know what?
Yeah,
Listen,
They'll get you, y'all.
Listen.
They're not like they-
listen,
not like they
Kenya
told.
just came off of another bout of malaria.
Yeah,
so
I just had
don't-
malaria, so
don't-
that's why
don't
maybe
mind
it's
that.
personal.
Malaria is like flu here, and so it's like the flu here. Like
That's
we
true.
get the
It's
flu
very
back
true.
home,
It's
it's
very
like the
true.
flu here. And like I said, you gotta address it early. You know what I mean? You will be
That's
okay
key.
if you address it
That's
early.
key.
You will be fine. And so some people get malaria, some people don't get malaria.
The thing is, I've been in Ghana for 2 years. I don't know if I ever got malaria in Ghana, but something about when I go to Sierra Leone, the mosquitoes be on me in Sierra Leone. I was there for a few days and got malaria. It's rough. Watch out for the mosquitoes, y'all. That's my point. But
Okay, back to Dre, because if Dre, as a litigator, if you were on the stand, I would say objection, non-responsive. Is English your first language? Did you understand my question? Do you need me to repeat the question? Because I can't.
what was
was
the
the
question?
The question was nothing that you responded to. I said, how much
Oh,
would
right,
one
right,
of
right,
your
right.
tours
Yeah,
set me
yeah.
back? And then you
Okay.
sent me down the road
Okay. Yeah.
that led to nothingness, and I'm going to bring you back again. How much would one of your tours set me back if somebody wanted to join the
So
tour?
if you got double occupancy, meaning 2 people to a room, 2,500. If it's one person to a room, single occupancy, I think it's 2,800, I believe, or 3,000, somewhere around there. It's all inclusive, everything except for the plane ticket. But your food, the drinks, the activities, we do VIP table service every time we go out. You know, we'll do a police escort. I don't know if I can say that. You know what I mean?
It's so much
It's out
we can't
there
say.
now.
It's so much we can't say on this story.
you know, it's a VIP treatment. You know what I mean?
VIP
And so,
treatment, that's it.
You know,
Finesse.
yeah, you know, that's one of the things when you're here where you get that VIP
Man.
treatment. It's like I went to the concert with Erykah Badu. What was that called?
The
Black Star.
Black Star Line.
Line
so
Festival.
me and my partner, we went there. You know, we paid. It was free. It was a free concert.
Yeah.
Went there, 50,000 people, 50,000 black people. No violence. It got over like
Yeah.
at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, so we got there. You know, we talked to security guards, paid them a little something. It was like $30 US, about 300 CDs, and we got like this VIP treatment. So we sit up in the VIP. You know, right next to the engineers, the DJ. Next thing you know, Toby comes up there. Toby sitting like right here. Chance comes. Chance sitting right here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm talking for $30. You know what I mean? You can't do that in the U.S. You know what I mean?
You know what? That is one thing about being in Africa. If the likelihood of running into like dignitaries and celebrities is far higher when you're here, and it's like we're all just here, black people on the continent, like we're
Having a
all
good time.
having a great time together. Yeah, more unity in that sense.
because it's not even that you'll run into them, which you definitely will, right? Like you're not even 1 degree separated from any, especially African American celebrity that comes to Ghana. There's nowhere that they will be that you cannot easily afford to be. But when they get here, their guard is down. All of our guards are down.
Everybody's guard is down when you get
Yeah.
here. It's just a more peaceful place. I can't
Yeah.
emphasize that enough.
Automatically, they happy to be here. It's like cheers. Like everybody's glad you came. Everybody knows your name. So Black Star Line Festival was the perfect blend. That was my perfect life because obviously Chance is from Chicago. So it was nothing but Bulls jerseys, Bears jerseys, like in the crowd, niggas with dreadlocks. It was just so Chicago, but in Ghana. It was a vibe. It was a vibe.
It was a good time.
It was a good time.
T-Pain was there.
Yeah.
Erica Badu.
T-Pain showed
Can
out.
we get into T-Pain? What you think about T-Pain's performance?
He put it down.
T-Pain performed for a good hour plus.
Yeah, he brought some strippers on the stage, I think, or something. You know what I mean? It was crazy.
T-Pain's a wild dude.
T-Pain.
To like 8 in the morning, no
Yeah.
violence.
None.
50,000 people, black people. We can't get together like that.
Man.
An outdoor venue like that.
We can't have
Oh, they
5,000.
would have shut it down
Yeah,
in the States.
definitely.
Quick. You know what I mean? But you don't have those elements here. You know what I mean? People talk about, let's talk about it. You know what I mean? People will break it up. You know, and so, you know, it was a good time. You know, so that, to a long story short, it's an investment for your
You know what?
tour.
That's not too bad though, Dre. 2,800 for
It's not
double
bad at all.
occupancy
To
for
change
for
your
what
life.
could be a once in a lifetime opportunity.
your
If,
life.
Yeah.
Even if you don't decide to totally transfer to Ghana, if that is your one time, you know that you're coming, I think it's worth it.
Absolutely. All inclusive. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's great.
Because it shows you a different picture than what we've been taught of Africa. You know, even when we come here, we're amused. You know, I went to a grocery store, the new Malcolm that we went to the other
Oh,
day.
man.
So I took some of my tour goers to Malcolm, and they were just so amused about how nice in Malcolm was. And I said, you have to think about it. We in a grocery store. We got grocery stores back home. Why are we so amused about
By
a
this
grocery
grocery store, yeah.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie, it's a nice grocery store.
No,
Probably
it's
the nicest
very
one I've
nice.
been
No.
into.
It's very
That's
nice.
like the nicest grocery store I've ever been
Yeah,
to
yeah.
anywhere in
Right.
the world. It was so nice. But it would put you in mind of like Mariano's. I don't know if you guys have Mariano's or what's the other one? The other bougie place that people go to
Whole
get
Foods?
groceries? Whole Food? No,
It was
not Whole
upgrade
Foods.
past
Nah,
Whole
yeah,
Foods.
Yeah,
not
it's-
Whole
it's
Foods.
nicer than
Not
Whole Foods.
Yeah.
It's like a Mariano's, but if Mariano's was like a 2-story mall. Like so nice. Shout out to, you know, whoever it is that was the brainchild behind that Malcolm Mall. But no, every little thing here is exciting. Truly. Like every little thing here is exciting because we're experiencing it back home.
Yeah. Everything's better when it's black.
Oh, Kenyon. Now, if you're white and you're listening to this podcast,
For me as a black person, that's I'm saying.
I mean, you could be
down.
unapologetic here.
this is the
One-
thing.
one-
Absolutely.
One of the things being here that I tell people is that, you know, we almost have like a mental illness back home where we feel we got a code switch. We got to lower ourselves to say we're not good enough. We're not enough. And so we have to be somebody different to be accepted. Here, you can be you. You can be, you don't have to do that here.
You can totally be yourself.
Yeah, you ain't got to
Black
change.
as you want to be.
You ain't got to change your voice, your hairstyle, the way you do things, X, Y, and Z. You can be you. You're enough here.
That's real.
We feel
you
that
are
we're
enough.
not enough. We got to overcompensate and feel comfortable.
Overcompensate.
We got to overcompensate.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. It's almost like a mental illness where we automatically do it, where we call in a job and we change our voice.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? You know,
Yeah,
X,
yeah.
Y, and Z. Why do we naturally do that? It's almost like a mental illness where we're not enough to be ourselves.
It's true.
You know what I mean? And so, you know, it's one of the things where you can be here and you don't have to go through all that stuff because you're enough here. You're
Yeah.
more than enough. You're accepted here. You know, getting pulled over by the police. Your heart ain't going to pound.
Nah.
You know, many times I've been pulled over. You mean it was so bad in high school. I used to carry a tape recorder because I live in the suburbs. I used to carry a tape recorder in my car because they pulled me over like 10 times in like 2 months. Because I had a cutlass.
Not the Cutlass
Yeah, I had a
Supreme.
Cutlass
Not the
Supreme.
Cutlass.
Yeah, I had a Cutlass Supreme.
Oh, Cuddy.
Yeah, old Cuddy.
Oh, Cuddy.
And they pulled me over every time I left the neighborhood because I live in the suburbs. Like, where are you going? What you doing out here? I live out here. What are you talking
Living my
about?
life. God dang.
You know what I mean? And so, you know, just those interruptions and interactions you
Yeah.
have with people where you don't have that here. You know, you get pulled over by the police, your heart don't start pounding.
Not
even
at
if
all.
you, even if you don't do nothing wrong in the States, you still
Oh,
don't want to
yeah.
go to certain areas
Oh,
and
yeah.
deal with these people for whatever reason. But here, it's like it's cool. You know, sometimes they might try to get you to dash or something like that, but just give them a little money.
Give
but
them a little something.
That's a luxury tax. If you ever been fingerprinted, put your hands behind your back and go to jail.
child.
Oh, you would give $5 up quick.
Yeah.
That's like, take this $5.
Yeah.
Take this
Happily
five.
take this $5. You know what I mean? And you don't got to give it to them. They just, try
You
to take
don't.
you to the ringer. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But if you don't want that hassle, if they do ask X, Y, and Z, get it out the way.
The thing is, it doesn't matter. Like, this is a place where the thing is, nothing is that serious. That's the thing
Nothing
about
is
being in
that
Ghana. That's
serious.
what you
That's
realize.
true.
Once you get anywhere, actually, in Africa, whatever stress you have in the United States is first world stress. Like, whatever you're going through in the United States, unless you are dealing with actual police violence or gun violence or actual racist violence, everything else that you're going through is a first world. It's the tax you pay for living in one of the wealthiest countries in the world. Like, once you get here, you realize all of those things don't matter. Nothing matters.
Tail light out. It ain't a jailable or offense for you to get
It's
killed.
not probable cause.
It's not probable cause.
Just a
expired license plate.
Just a
It
warning.
isn't a cause for them to kill you.
Yeah.
Why are these simple things causes?
Because
or
they're
probable
basically
causes
they're
to kill
hunting
you?
people of color. That's
You know what
why.
I mean? Life is not that serious.
It's not that serious.
It's not that serious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Here, police will be like, "Hey, what's going on, brother? Welcome back. Welcome home."
What brought you here?
You know,
it's a
what
whole
brought you
conversation.
here? It's a conversation. Hey, chairman. You know what I mean?
They actually do. They love to ask you where you're coming from.
And why you're here.
Why you're here? They want to hear that.
They wanna
get
hear
excited
about it.
us coming back home. Back home, I have no conversation for the police. There's nothing we can talk
None.
about. I have nothing that we can talk about. What do you need, sir?
Are we done here?
Are we done here? That's it. I have no conversation with
Yeah.
it. But here, it's like, you open to conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we talking to your brother. You know what I mean? And so that's one of the reasons where black men should get their passports, travel outside of Atlanta, Miami, the DR, Jamaica. Come over here where, you can be at peace. It's less than 15,000 people in jail in Ghana out of 35 million. You got,
Is it?
Yeah, you got 400,000 brothers in the States in jail.
Yeah.
400,000 compared to less than 15,000. There's 35 million people here. It's about 50 million people black people in the States.
Think
Do
about
those
what you
numbers.
just said. What you just said really struck me because, I'm a former prosecutor. Before I went into private practice, I was a prosecutor, and I remember there would just be frequent flyers. Especially when you start at any state's attorney's office, any attorney general's office, like you're going to start in the misdemeanor crimes. And there would just be frequent flyers there for what? Driving while license suspended. Just driving while license suspended. That school to prison pipeline, like that pipeline that they talk about a lot of times starts with just your driving offenses. And then you get caught up. And then you get one, driving while license suspended. Two, third one's a felony. And then you start becoming a felon. And then you get your license revoked, meaning it's completely and totally gone, right? And now you're in prison. And you can't pay your child support, and then you get out and you keep on getting rearrested, right, for failure to pay child support. And what did they take? Your passport. Like, when I think about living in the U.S. and I think about all the young black boys, really, young black men that I prosecuted just doing my job, the majority of them, their life of crime, quote unquote, started with driving offenses. And even in private practice now in family law, I see so many people that come to me, so many fathers, because I focused on fathers' rights for many years, or for not many years, but for several years before I started a full service family law firm. And they come to me just because they can't travel, just because they can't. Think about what that means. You're in America where white people, the first thing they want to tell you when they're trying to use up racial slurs to tell you to go home, right? They didn't bring us there, kicking and screaming, literally, right? And then they prevent you from being able to leave and being able to see any other way of life. So you think that you're stuck in the ghetto. You think you're stuck in the hood. You think you're stuck getting arrested. 10 freaking times in 1 month you said you got stopped by the police, or 10 times in 2 months. That's crazy. That's once a week.
I wasn't even 18. I was
crazy.
17. I was 17.
For
and so-
driving.
That
for
takes
driving.
a toll on
Of
just
course
your.
it takes a toll. That's got to be, because then it's what did I do? Literally, what am I doing that nobody else is doing? What can I change about myself to
It was
stop
like they was
doing
waiting
the wrong
on me. It's
thing?
like they was
Yeah.
waiting on me to
This
come out
is
the neighborhood.
crazy, man.
They were just waiting on me to come out the neighborhood.
Just being
You know what I
black.
mean?
Being hunted.
And no. I like to correct you there. It's not because we black, it's because they're white.
Fair enough.
True.
We don't have the double negative because of our skin. When you look at history,
enough.
they have the same history with everybody they come encounter with. They killed all the Arawaks.
Fair enough.
They got the problem with Koreans. They got a problem with Japanese. They got a problem with the Mexicans. You know, they done had the civil wars with them, amongst themselves. They done dropped bombs and everywhere else. And so it's not just us.
Yeah.
They did it to themselves first. And they homed in on their skills. And we just the flavor of the month. That's
What
all
we
it
are
is.
is the most conspicuous, and that I think is what I love the most about Ghana, or just being in Africa generally. It's not that, you know, I can pretty much, have you gotten to the point where you can pretty much spot an African American? I mean, in particular, an African American across the room in Ghana, like when they walk into the establishment.
Sometimes.
I'm pretty much can
But you-
always like spot an African American, but like the point that I was making is like here, like you said, we don't have to change ourselves. Like whatever my hair was looking like on any particular day, whatever I feel like, you know, whoever it is whoever I've decided you're gonna get on any particular day is good. It's acceptable. It's revered.
So how do we meet?
That's a great question.
Oh, how did we meet? Oh, well, we would have to shout out our friend Will from Chicago.
Kofi.
Yeah, he's a Ghanaian American. What were we doing? Will was here.
Hosting
Remember?
an event.
He was hosting an
He was
event.
hosting an event.
He was here on a tour.
I met Will. He hit me up on Instagram. He seen I was doing some stuff with real estate, and he was bringing a group of lawyers to Ghana, and he wanted me to talk about my real estate endeavors to his people that was bringing here. And so happened, you two ladies was there.
Yeah.
You know, and we talked. We hit it off. You know, y'all was cool a little bit. You know what I mean?
This dude.
Yeah.
A little bit.
We the coolest people.
Dre hang out with us like every week, but we was a little cool.
We hang out multiple times a week.
That's all right. You know what I mean?
Girl, you
That's all
can't get
right.
enough. You
You
don't
know?
be the coolest people you met since you've been here. Tell the truth. I know you.
Yeah, so we met
know
at
you
the Polo Club in Accra.
Yes, we were getting our best bougie life on.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just loved it. Was this black bougie. When we say polo, we don't mean like polo like what you buy in a like Burlington Coat Factory. We talk about like real, actual men on horses.
Men on
with
horses.
sticks.
Black men on horses.
Black men on horses with sticks. Well, those black men on horses, and then they were playing.
They were
UK.
playing
They're
Britain. Yeah,
They were
yeah.
playing Britain.
It was
so
very
black
interesting
men on
to
horses and
see.
white men on horses with
Upscale,
sticks.
upscale joint.
Very.
Gorgeous upscale joint.
Owned by a Ghanaian. We seen the
Yeah.
owner.
Yeah.
You know, wealthy Ghanaians that was there. You know, and so
Man, money.
so that's how we met.
That
we
is
went
how
to
we
an
met.
event, and we sat there and talked, and we talk about living here, moving here, and those things associated with being in Ghana.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how we met and hit it off and been cool. And then a couple months, 2 or 3 months.
More than that.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
More
about
than
4
that. I wanna
months.
say maybe
Yeah.
they came
4
in-
months.
They came
Yeah,
about
yeah.
in April or
Yeah.
end of March. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Still going strong.
You'll find your tribe.
You
know.
will. That's the beautiful part. You will. You will. So even if you don't have like a sister to move to Ghana with, excuse me, just if it's something that you want to do, consider it and do it, because you will find your tribe. It'll come together. Everything will come together for you.
So I'm like the chief of this tribe. You know what I
Dre,
mean? Chief Dre.
So what? Can you just
Chief,
declare
Chief,
yourself
Chief
chief? Where they do
Dre.
that at?
Wow.
Where they do that at? You can
Yeah.
just
It's
declare
allowed.
yourself chief? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Dre.
And I'm the queen mother.
All right, Dre. So that make me the what?
Cleaner. It's a cleaner.
Whatever,
you know
man.
what I mean? So,
Whatever, man. Anyway,
I think
that's
lastly,
about it.
no, we need to discuss what we do, because we've talked all about what Dre did. He didn't advertise his tours and everything. Dre about to get money, and we still over
Dre
here
has
just
to
chit chat.
Tours.
advertise is cool because
Tours to Ghana.
there you go.
TOURSTOGHANA, and then you can go to the Beyond Investments off of that link to look about the properties we're building currently.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I ain't gonna talk about the rooftop pool we putting in there.
Oh.
The mountain views.
Oh.
Elevator.
The elevator.
I heard there's a
you
rumor
know.
niggas over here trying to be giraffes and stuff.
Yeah, the elevator inside the house. You know what I mean? All kind of stuff.
Okay,
we
that's
trying to
how
do.
we doing it.
Sustainable.
Okay.
Solar panels, battery
the
backup
grid.
systems, water filtration.
This is your guy. If you're thinking about getting
Internet,
property
you know.
or building in Ghana, this is your
purchasing
guy.
land.
Well, we're all your guys.
Yeah.
We're all your guys.
Cause y'all
Sure.
doing some renovation in
Yeah,
real
yeah.
estate, dibbling and dabbling and all that
Dibbling
stuff.
and dabbling, that's it.
So,
But other than that, what we've solidified since we've been here in Ghana is Masa and I are the co-owners of the one, the only
Fium, fium, fium.
Sierra Leonean restaurant here in Ghana, and that is what? Freetown Chop House, located in the bustling Osu. Wow, that was a little commercial.
I know, right?
So who got the best jollof?
Come on now.
Dre, don't do it. Now,
Sierra
Dre, you
Leone.
know.
Y'all gonna start a fight?
Sierra
Y'all
Leone.
gonna start a
This
fight?
thing
Listen,
is, we
so-
don't have to start no fights. I told you, Sierra Leoneans, we don't have to start no fights. We stay ready, so we don't have to ever get ready. At the end
Listen.
of the day, we're a small but mighty country, and we have gathered trophies all over the diaspora, everywhere, any place we're inside the chats. Don't believe Nigerians just because it's 50 billion of them.
There's a
saying the
lot
same
of them
thing.
telling you something, and that's why.
Just because there's 100 million Ghanaians telling you something and 50,000 billion Nigerians telling you something doesn't make it true. Anytime Sierra Leone enters the chats, the only people who even come close to rivaling us when it comes to jollof is Liberia. That's it. That's it. And we share a border. So we like the same people. That's it.
That's as far as the competition. You know who doesn't enter the competition is Senegal, where jollof originated. So they don't even have to be a part of the competition. But for the rest of us who are competing and trying to imitate what they've done in Senegal, it's Sierra Leone and Liberia. Yeah, I gotta say
it's
that.
an actual factual fact.
Yeah.
It's just an objective fact. And if you haven't had Sierra Leonean jollof, you're actually unqualified to even.
Because some people are
debate
just
this.
like, Sierra Leone, where is that? And they don't even want to hear it, although they've never even tried it.
I mean, I've had Nigerian jollof many times because these people are always force feeding you. It's always by force. I've lived in Ghana now. How many times have I had? I'm not
Ghanaian
going to say
jollof.
it's disappointing.
I'm just saying ours is better. And
I'm
if
just
you
saying
want
ours
some
is
Sierra
better.
Leonean jollof, you can head down to Freetown Chop House
That's
in Osu.
So yes, that is what we're doing.
That's what we've been doing. We also we have a couple budding businesses.
we have, but one is ready to hatch. So Freetown Chop House is what we have been focusing on. Our 1 year anniversary for Freetown Chop House was in April. Sierra
Yes.
Leone's independence.
Yes.
So that was our 1 year anniversary in April of 2023. But we also are the co-owners of Cornerstone Construction. So we are focusing, unlike Dre's developments in a brewery, right? Which is
Bree,
Whew, child.
Bree.
Abri. Okay, unlike Dre's development in Abri, I'm telling you, Dre's gonna drive this into the ground. You can't repeat one thing that you've learned. A bury. You can't repeat one thing that you've learned in your tree lesson.
Manasi.
Oh, okay. All right. For those who don't know, that means thank you. And everybody knows
Akwaba.
it. That means welcome, and everybody knows it.
I'm on my second class now.
Okay,
right.
well, anyway, that being said, so unlike Dre's developing a brewery, which has, different, I guess you have different styles of homes. You have individual houses. You're going to have condos, rooftop, all of that. So we're into buying and flipping. And our target audience is really African Americans who are coming here who want a single family home for under $100,000. So you'll realize that Ghana is Africa, yes. But if you think for 1 second, if you think for one iota of a second that you're about to come here stunting on anybody, flossing on a single soul.
You'll get humbled real
If you think
quick.
for 1 second you're about to go empty out your $40,000 401k, you think you're about to get your $79,000 TSP that you've been saving for 30 years and come to this Accra, Ghana and stunt on anybody and buy any substantial property, you are sadly mistaken. I mean, you can, but it's not going to be easy. So our target audience is really African Americans who are coming here with normal resources, who are looking for a home that's under $100,000. And the reason why that's key, I know that there are a lot of African Americans who believe that they own their $200,000 and $300,000 houses in the U.S., but here in Africa, money talks. So mortgages are 2 years, maybe 3-4 years maximum. I think the highest I've ever heard is a 5-year mortgage. Those are unusual. So people expect you to come with cash. And so we're really working on single family homes priced under $100,000, reasonable price plans. And our first home is going to be done and move in ready by the first week in July. So we're super, super excited about that.
What is that? What's going to be at that home?
I mean, just nothing, no big deal. Is it a 4-bedroom home? Yes. Obviously, it's going to have, a swimming pool. Obviously, it's going to have a rooftop pergola. Is it also going to have a gym? Yes. Is it also going to have a separate, roof side pergola? Yes, it is. It's on 2.5 plots. I don't know what that is in acres. Is that like a quarter acre? I don't know. Don't let me get to lying. In any event.
Yeah, it's a quarter acre.
Okay, is it a quarter acre? So it's going to have a tennis court. So a tennis
Naturally.
court, naturally. Because who doesn't need a tennis court in their yard? Anyway, so yeah, tennis court, a pool, a gym, a rooftop, and a separate seating area and 4 bedrooms. 4 bedrooms, 4 baths.
So we'll be doing a tour of your
Yes.
house
Absolutely.
pretty soon.
Yes, I'm so excited about it.
End of June, early July.
Let's say, you know what? Let's go on ahead and, you know when people be like, they move into a house on Instagram and they're laying on a mattress and they're like, a win is a win. Why don't we go ahead and do the tour, let's say the first week in August?
Okay.
Why don't we go ahead and do the tour first week in August?
Okay.
I will be moving in. As for me and my family, we'll be moving in the first week in July. But let's go. I'm going to go ahead and say that you have an invitation the first week in August to get my life together.
That'll work.
Get my
I'm
furniture
around the
situation
same
together.
time period. We're around the same time period, so yeah.
Can't wait.
We'll
Can't
do a tour
wait.
because people are interested into, what houses look
seeing
like
is
here,
believing.
and seeing stuff, and it's something for everybody here.
Yeah,
You know
something
what
for
I mean?
everybody at every price
You ain't
point.
gotta have, you ain't gotta have, $100,000. You know what I mean? To move here, you can rent somewhere for like $100 a month.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
You
these
know
are
what I
supposed to be
mean?
separate episodes, and we just going in.
Yeah. We'll talk
We're gonna
about
get
that
into all
part.
of that.
Because we can't
Yeah.
the expenses, the cost of rent, like all of that. That's something
Cost
that we
of
have to do.
living.
There's
we
so
need
much
do a
to
deep
talk
dive
about.
into
This
that.
is
That should be
just
our next-
episode 1,
yeah.
guys, and I feel like we've pretty much covered everything that we need to cover. It was just an intro episode to let you guys know who we are, how we met, and what we're doing here in general.
Oh, there's something else that I didn't discuss. So Legally Masa, that's my consulting
Imagine.
website. No,
Right.
don't do that. Y'all have been so good today. I've been playing so nice in
Good
this
job.
damn box.
Actually, Dre been the most talkative today.
I know. Exactly. Dre, the main one talking about I'm looking for a gavel so I can shut
Dre
Masa
be
up
acting
when he
quiet.
talking. Shut Masa up when she get to talking too much. Whatever.
All right, Master, go
First of
ahead.
all, no, so legallymaster.com. So when you go there, that is my consultancy. I really focus on consulting for parents who are moving to Ghana. All right, that's my bag. That's my bag. It's my claim to fame. I'm a fantastic mother, if I should say so myself, and I do. And so do my children. But I think a lot of people think that they have to wait until their children are grown, or they think they have to come to Africa in retirement, or they're scared about moving their children and worried about how they'll acclimate. Listen, go to legallymasa.com, cop my ebook, The Ghana Guide to Parenting. Actually, it's The Ghana Guide to Single Parents, because that's my real bag. It's single parents. Best parenting decision I ever made. Literally the best parenting decision I ever made, and I'm so grateful that Kenya convinced me to take the leap of faith and to come to Ghana.
All right.
So that's it.
I'm sure we'll get into that more on another episode.
We
So yeah, guys, that was episode 1. That wasn't too shabby, was it? You guys let us know. All
Let
right.
us know in the comments, and follow all of us on Instagram, and follow all of our channels.
Yeah, we'll add that in
Yeah.
post production.
Yes.
The links and whatnot. So
And
how
like
we,
and subscribe.
please like and subscribe. We have so much more to share with you guys. Yeah, this is just the beginning. So that was episode 1 of the Ghana Gamble. Good job, guys.
I know. High five. High five, guys.
With your
Yay.
good
hand.
Am I good? No, shut up.